$158 million. That was the value of the gold produced by the 3 large Juneau area mines before the last one closed in 1944. And it all started right here on Gold Creek. Led by local natives, Richard Harris and Joe Juneau found the gold that started the rush that built the town. Hello, I'm Scott Foster, and welcome again to Rain Country, where this week we combine a bit of our Southeast history with our present. In the past, the gold mining operations went 24 hours a day, 363 days a year to produce the gold. Today, without going through all that trouble, it's still possible to find gold in the old-fashioned way.
Well, when you look for gold, you got to think heavy, if you will. Gold is 19.3 times heavier than water in its pure state. And as a result of that, it tends to concentrate in certain areas of the stream, for example. And it doesn't weather. It will pound out and maybe flake apart, but it doesn't chemically change. It usually stays inert in a stream bed. So you'll find it behind boulders, lagging along in the stream gravels on the inside of a gravel bar. You'll find it caught in bedrock cracks. Where it comes from, the mother lode, if you will, it comes from gold-bearing rock that probably through some geologic process has concentrated the gold. It has an affinity for quartz. So sometimes in a rock assemblage with a lot of quartz veins, such as we have in some of these hills behind here, you'll find gold concentrated there. And of course, as the rock weathers away around the gold drops out. And then the stream flow will pick it up and carry it maybe for a short distance. Usually stream gold, or we call it placer gold, doesn't travel very far unless it's light and flaky, and the stream maybe has a lot of energy in it, which would tend to sweep it down. And usually nuggets stay fairly close to the source, maybe within a few miles or up to 10 miles.
If you're going to be a weekend gold panner, Toland suggests you be equipped with endurance, a dog for company, a bucket for washing larger rocks in and collecting the surrounding gold-bearing sediment, a potato rake, a shovel, a sieve or crib, a poke to carry your precious gold, and of course a gold pan. Then it's just a matter of technique, picking a good spot and diving in.
This is the part that gets most of them. This water's about 36 degrees. Now what I'm doing is keeping this crab above the pan and just washing things right through to the pan underneath. And notice it does kick up a lot of mud. Toss the old rocks away, pick up the pan. We now have this much sediment to deal with. All pretty well sized by that handy little screen there. What I'm doing now with a flooded pan is just kind of giving it a little bit of a circular action with a little cam to it, kind of stretch it apart. If somebody could stick their finger in there, you could poke it right down to the bottom. It's not at all tight. Then I just put a few sideways twitches. That tightens it up a bit, and I can tilt the pan into the stream this way, lift it up and down. If I push it like this, it probably lose some gold, because the idea is not to push the gravel out, but to rather let the water strip it off the top. If you push it out, it'll rotate out of the pan, and the gold that's sunk to the bottom will go right on out with it. And notice how slick and nifty this process is? All that stuff I'm washing off there probably has little or no value of gold in it. Now, some point in here, I'm going to cheat a little just to show you this process does work. I'm going to put a couple of nuggets in, and I'm going to chance it to the stream, you know. There, you can see me dropping them in, okay? And I'm going to use them as my indicators, and just to show you that this process does work. They've already gone down to the bottom, probably. I'm not the slightest bit worried. I know 100% confident that I will get those nuggets back. Now remember, the few little sideways twitches like that tightens the gravel up and keeps it in the pan when you tilt the pan to the water. You notice I don't really gully wash the pan either. I just a nice gentle wave action. Pan up and down a couple inches, that's plenty, especially when you get down to this amount. And if you feel like cheating, you can pick out a pebble or two. No big deal. These old timers try to tell you there's a lot of hard and fast rules to panning. Well, there's only one. That is, you don't try to push the sediment out of your pan. Just let the water do the work. Strip it off the top. Now remember, there's another way to do this, and that's when they throw it out of the sides like that. I don't like that. I just like to keep it all in the pan and just let the waves do it. Okay? A few sideways twitches. Down it goes. We have now about, less than a fifth of the original volume of sediment that we started with. Now at this stage, if this area were really fairly rich, I'd probably begin to see a little gold here and a little bit there. Maybe some in the middle, little specks, gold dust. I don't see any. I'm not too surprised, but we know this is for demonstration. Now sometimes people say, well, what about that and that? Aren't you afraid you're losing gold? And remember, gold is very heavy. It likes to stay in the bottom. And if it dances around and flows right out with the water, more than likely it's not gold. It's something much lighter, usually mica flakes. Now we're down near the bottom. Let's do what the old timers do. They call this swirling, okay? Take a little water in your pan and just rotate it around. And it'll strip the sediment off the top of the nuggets, which are right there. Now those little guys, see that one there, or that one there? I didn't put that in there. That probably came from the creek. If I had to do a gold in this country for wages, the heck with it. I'd probably starve to death. But basically, I don't have to do it. I just enjoy it. I get away from people for a little while. I'm by myself. It's kind of like the fishermen, you know, when they're out for kings. I think they really need their solitude, and it's the element of chance, the unknown, perhaps. Maybe they'll get a big fish. Maybe I'll find a nugget. The analogy is the same, and therapy also for the exercise, because I work a regular job right now, like a lot of folks in Juneau, and a lot of times it's behind a desk. And when you're driving a desk, it's hazardous to your health. So I just crave to get out once in a while to stretch my legs and run a little and climb them down the hillside and push boulders around. And the gold is a treat. It's a sweetener at the end of it all.